Let's get this show on the road. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to, if you don't know, now you know. Joined with the men's medicine crew here today. But first things first, we're going to start off with a round of gratitudes. Actually introduce yourself, who you are, and then your gratitudes for today. It is actually Gratitude Friday as well. Ooh. So let's go. And this is the last podcast for 2020 as well. We're finishing it up with the crew. So we're going to kick it off as we're going to go ladies first today. Ladies first.
The pressure's on. So I am Alessandia. Lovely to meet you guys.
Into the mic too, please.
Oh, sorry.
We just had this conversation.
Sorry. Okay. I am Alessandia. Lovely to meet you guys. I am grateful for opportunity. I know that this has been a really tough year for a lot of people, myself included, but that I have had opportunities that have arisen out of the struggle. So I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that this year has brought. And yeah, that there is, you don't appreciate the light without the dark. So there was a lot of appreciation that came out of that. So here's to 2021 though. Woo!
I'm Andy Archie. We're starting with gratitude, are we?
Name.
Gratitude?
Yeah,
all right, so gratitude. There's a saying that says, if you're not growing, then you're just waiting to die. So I'm very grateful for the growth that I've made this year. When in terms of who am I love that question, bro. Love that question. I've had a lot of time to sit on that. And who am I is I'm a father. I'm a student. I'm a teacher of my lessons. I am living a human experience through an infinite being. That's who I am.
Man, hard to follow up. It's your man, Coach Holler here, the tallest Tongan man that you know. What I am grateful for today is family and growth. Family and growth. I'm going to keep it really, really simple. Become a new father again for the second time this year. Extremely grateful for that. And 2020 has stretched me more in different ways than any other year has before. So I'm extremely grateful to feeling much better at the end of this year than what the year kicked off at.
Can we get off the 2020 bus yet, or I'm ready. I'm ready for 2021.
Done.
Are you standing up or sitting down?
There's always one.
What's up, guys? You know me, Mr. Hecker, aka Mr. Dangerous. Can't believe I'm calling myself Mr. Dangerous, but anyway. Someone asked me, did I give that name to myself? And no, I didn't.
Well, if I ask you how you're feeling today, what will you generally say?
I'm feeling dangerous, baby.
There we go.
As always. So what I'm grateful for, my gratitudes, it's opportunity, baby. It's everywhere. You wake up every day, and you actually have the opportunity to seize it as well. So it's everywhere. And I guess when I look back at life, your life is accumulation of opportunities you took or you didn't take. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about for me now. And I'm just super grateful that I realised that. So I don't want to get to the end of this year or the end of next year. I haven't got to the end of next year yet, but I realised that, there's things that passed me by, and I want to make sure that next year I took every opportunity possible that was going to make me or break me. And they're all important. So opportunity is what I'm grateful for.
Is this Gratitude Friday or Wednesday Wisdom Drop?
I think it's
We started off with the wisdom.
We started kicking off with wisdom shit. So I was like, you know what? I got to step it up today.
We've been memorizing scripts for weeks.
Yeah, I've actually got a bunch of shit written on my
phone. Let's go. What we got?
So what are we going to do today? It's Father's Day. I'm joking. Yeah, I guess even the main reason why I wanted to come here today was to wrap it up with, everyone here, Men's Medicine. We actually are missing Brother Ra, people, so excuse us.
He's here in spirit. The seat's there.
Brother Ra is in spirit. How you doing, Brother Ra? What would Brother Ra say, actually?
Yeah, what would he be grateful for?
What would Brother Ra be grateful for?
Should we do our best impersonation of him?
Oh.
Okay, you give me one thing
dangerous.
that Brother Ra would be grateful for today. Because we've got to include it.
All right.
Bless you.
I'm grateful for Men's Medicine and the community and the people that it's helped. That's my best Brother Ra voice.
That's me. That's it.
I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, love you, bro.
Love you, brother.
Don't get me wrong.
That's all you get for not showing up.
Do this stuff because it's dangerous.
No, I can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brother Ra, I love you though.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna share my gratitude for Brother Ra is that he came and opened up the space for the couples workshop
Yes.
last week, and as much as I'm capable of opening up space, no one does it like Brother Ra.
No one does it like brother.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
like spiritual like Brother Ra. And I'm like,
None of us are.
No, none of us.
None of us are. That's why there's only one Ra.
That's what, like, even I just come up to my memory then, like when he was at, we did the community breath work at Coomera, and he was like, asking me, he's like, oh, you want to open it? I was like, no, I don't want to open it up. You open it up. I ain't going to try. Like, they're going to talk to me, and then I'm going to be fast paced going, and you're going to try to drop them in. I was like, this is two different levels. Here. I'm like, you just do you, bro. I only come out here to put the music on for you.
Yeah.
And take the photos.
Take the photos.
You know, as much as he's not in a relationship, man, I just knew it would be a treat for them. Because no one drops people into spirit, into space, into source.
So he's in a relationship
Brother
with
Ra.
source. He's in a relationship with energy, with the spirit, and I think that that's his gift. That he's able to help us have that relationship with energy, with spirit, with source, with ourselves, which is the gift that we give others. So it was perfect to bring it into a couple's space for sure.
I love that.
It's really important, space, like to have him in this community as well, Brother Ra.
And one's enough.
Yeah, one's enough.
One's enough. Like he's that powerful. We only need one.
You only need one spiritual brother in this circle. And that's Brother Ra. So love you, bro.
You love you, brother.
Got you, bro.
Let's kick it off with a round of, I want to know, because we're on the topic of 21, biggest challenge of this year and why? Don't look at Lenore when you say that either.
You were my my biggest challenge of 2021 was probably just getting out of my own head, letting go of playing small like I had been in the past. I'd limited myself to who I thought that I was instead of focusing on who I thought I could be and the impact that I could have for others. So my biggest challenge was pushing my edges and continually being for the greater good, like not just focusing on what's uncomfortable for me, but the impact that facing that discomfort will have on everyone else that I then touch. So I would say I was my biggest challenge and my biggest outcome as well. So
Okay. Andy?
I came across a quote on social media, and it was something along the lines of you know how people see 2020 as like this really negative year. 2020 was actually a blessing for everyone to work through all the mirrors that they weren't able to see before, to step into uncomfortable places in our life that we hadn't experienced or had the opportunity to. So it's given me a lot of reflection within myself and my home. Yeah. So there's been a lot of mirrors that I've had to face off with. So that's been my biggest lesson.
Care to elaborate?
yeah, what are some mirrors? Are they full length?
Did you see,
Are they-
see yourself?
I like to keep the stuff in my home private.
Okay.
But yeah, I've just had a lot of lessons within the home that I've said to myself before: are these lessons necessary? Well, they're necessary because I went through them. So
If they weren't, they wouldn't have happened.
that's right. That's right. And I learned a lot of lessons to pass on to the people that I work with. So it's been a blessing. It has been a blessing. There's always gratitude on the other side of hurt. You know.
People talk about that all the time about how could have done this, you could have done that. But the truth is, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. And if it wasn't going to happen, if you could have done it the other way, you would have. You just would have, right?
That's it.
But it couldn't have happened that way. That's why it happened the way it did.
Peter Crone.
For me, I feel like I've been pushed, pulled, stretched every way possible, and tumble dried. You name it. That probably my anchor and my North Star has been my family. That I became a father again this year, and my learning experience You know what? We conceived today.
Oh,
It was 18th of December because we got back on the 16th. And when they dated it back, it was today. And obviously, we'd had the miscarriage 3 months earlier, and that was a learning lesson because we were traveling so much last year that the second time round, it had to be different. It was my wife's first experience through it. So learning how to navigate my way through rebuilding and being a great husband and father to my current daughter, and all the things, like, while still, that has been where I'm like, family, no one should ever get more time than your own family, I think. Nothing should be more prior. And this is what we preach, right? It's what
yeah.
family, family, family. So by keeping my focus on my family, keeping my eye on that, and being pushed and pulled and stretched and doing all the things, and that's why I'm extremely grateful for where we are at now, because we're better than when we started. We've had my son, and I'm just extremely grateful for it all.
What about you,
Challenge,
Brian?
Hex.
How
Hey?
about you?
Oh, my challenge for this year, to be honest, I was thinking about it and it changed as we went around.
No copying. Get your own.
Because I was like, you know what, to be honest with you, it was men's medicine. To be honest with you, men's medicine was my biggest challenge this year. When I look back at the year, I'm like, okay, all of the challenges have come from this circle. I'm like, looking at it, I was like, there was this thing and then there was that thing. I'm like, hold on, they were all came from that circle, and not in a bad way either. Like, they definitely, whatever, the biggest challenges is always most rewards as well.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like this creating this team and making sure that we seen out the year was a really important aspect for me, because if we're being honest, this could have sunk last year. This whole circle, we could have probably not been here.
Yep. 2 days ago.
And 2 days ago,
got back from New Zealand.
2 days ago, we got back from New Zealand, and there was hundreds of us, or at least 100.
2 days ago, a year ago.
2 days ago, a year ago, there was hundreds of us
Yep.
in our community and in our chats and everything. And you know what?
Quality over quantity.
It went down to 2.
Yeah.
It went down to 2. And I remember we had lots of conversations. And we went from having all those people down to 2. And I was like, it's just me and you, bro. And obviously then a couple of days later, we picked up Andy and Ramaka. And then
On the side of the road.
At the side of the road as well. And
Want to jump in?
it's like, hey,
Stranger
what's going
danger.
on? We're still swimming out here. What are you going to jump into this boat? And for me, it's been being able to turn nothing into something. And starting fresh again was a challenge, but it was also the most
Greatest
rewarding
And
challenge.
I wouldn't say nothing into something, more so start from scratch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we started from
From
scratch.
scratch.
Because there was a few things where I laughed and I was like, man, we're starting again. And I was like, shit.
We actually had our first meeting right in this space, but it looked totally different. We were looking at a whiteboard right where you are right now,
Yeah.
trying to map something
that
out.
The little one.
Yeah,
The little white
sitting
board.
in the lounge.
Yeah. And then,
Oh yeah, that's right. We
Yeah,
were here.
yeah.
Yeah, we sat down on the couch and we had a chat and
And then you guys asked for a loan to get some lunch.
that's right. So, did I?
No.
No, but that's been it. Hey, everyone's been. This year has been a testing one for me about, because for people who don't know, like my part in this men's medicine thing is team building, and or kind of management really. And there was a few times where obviously in management there's always riffs and raps and people agree and disagree, and I guess we had a lot of hard conversations this year. Me and you, especially Lenore, have had some. Andy, I'm pretty sure we had a couple. We had a couple. I think the only one I haven't had any hard conversations with is Brother Ra.
It's because he's not here.
Yeah. He's in spirit, though.
He's here in spirit, I guarantee you. He's here in
But
spirit.
I guess that's been my challenge. But it's been so rewarding. And I always knew, I was like, you know what, it's all here. I said we got a gun team here, and look at the back end of the year, it's looking really good.
I guess that's what evolution is, yeah. That's what growth is. Like,
Yeah.
there is no growth, there is no progress without struggle. And the evolution of what it was what we started off at, like we all know where it began, especially you and I, we've been here since like day ... We're such a different outfit from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the start.
What that was and what this is not even closely remotely the same thing.
And that doesn't happen without tension, without conflict, without disagreements, without
challenges,
without compromise,
Yeah.
without negotiation, without stretching, which is probably why I feel this year has made me feel the way it has.
And I always say, like, you know, I'm super happy to people to argue with me or come back at me, because that's just like, we get to find middle ground with people. And I've always been super open to that. I'm like you could tell me to get fucked. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I ain't going to hate you for it. I'll shake your hand at the end of the week and be like, look, man, we got through the week. And that's what it's about for me. I'm like, if you never said anything, well, then I would be worried.
Yeah.
I'd be worried, because I'm like, if we never had any arguments, I feel like, yeah, that's not a good thing to have. And I, you know, not arguments, but disagreements on things.
That's one of our standards, being able to give feedback.
Yeah. It is our personal standards is feedback, being open for feedback in the men's medicine community.
Because that's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
Feedback.
100%.
Love feedback.
Hard conversations.
I love
think that's
saying,
one thing we're getting good at.
Yeah. I love saying that feedback isn't as someone giving feedback, it's not to call someone out, it's to call someone forward. And as to receive feedback, like for me, I love it, because I'm like, oh, maybe I wasn't aware of that thing and now I am. Thank you for that. I'll take it on. I don't have to change, because that's just your experience of me. But
it's a bit like
cool,
the truth,
thank
right?
you.
Well, at
Sets you
first it
free.
may fucking piss you off.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it will set you free. It will serve you in the long run.
Just as we sort of touched prior, is, you know, if you're holding on to things, it's only hurting yourself, eh? So unless you can create that space to have to express how you feel, then you're just going to continue to hurt yourself with those stories that you continue to compile in yourself. It's a different type of feedback as to the feedback, I guess, Hector and I used to in the trade, where it's fucking pull your shit up, you useless cunt.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's
Can
it.
you say that
Done.
on this podcast?
Yeah, that's right. I do have a rule for myself. If I say the C word, I have to donate $100 to a charity, but I won't pull that on you. But that is...
You know what, bro? I will donate $100 to a charity.
Okay, sweet, cool.
Like it. You can comment underneath the podcast.
That
Which
has
one
been,
would
and
you
I've been
receive?
called out on it a few times. I had my cousin.
Yeah,
he
apologies
called
for
me
the
out on it.
colourful words.
That's right. You can swear whatever you want, but you can't say C. That's okay. We do have some standards around the swearing language.
Actually, share what charity you want me to nominate $100 to, and I will share
Put it
it
down.
on.
Yeah,
one
put it
out.
down below in the comments, and we'll do that, and we'll get onto it.
Well, in that case,
Actually, on that conversation, there was something I wanted to share. Just going off your conversation, given you know, and to be honest, I wasn't going to speak into it at all, but I think you know what I'm going to say, and it is that obviously a year ago we did split. And I don't think we've ever actually aired anything like that out, and I don't expect you to comment on it, but I'm going to say it anyway because fuck it. That's what I do.
it's my podcast. I'll do what I want.
I'm going to take a drink of water over here. I don't know what's going to happen.
No, it's not going to be bad, but yeah, definitely. No, and because lots of people have asked me as well, and I've never said anything. You know, I'm not going to sit here and fucking rag on anyone or say anything bad about anyone, but I am going to say what, you know, definitely. We had, for the people out there who do or don't know, there was a whole lot of other men that were in this circle, and they were here. We travelled everywhere. We fucking went all over Australia and New Zealand as well. Helped many people. Went everywhere, and all of a sudden we come back. Not all of a sudden, there was a few things leading up. Some tension got held. Some conversations were held, and people disagreed. And that's, you know, in a circle of men and around a table, there's going to be disagreements, especially when people want to lead and grow and step into spaces. And you know what? It forced us into a situation where we had to make some tough decisions. Myself and Lenore. I'm not going to elaborate on everything and go through the finer details, but evidently it ended up going to a conversation where we parted ways and we went to New Zealand and went and fulfilled some events that we had planned to do. And obviously that caused some tension, some disagreements within the other circles. And 2 days a year ago, which was on Wednesday,
16th of December.
the 16th of December, we come back. And you know what? They all got on a phone call, seemed very rehearsed. And, yeah, they left, which evidently I had no problem with them leaving. And we spoke about this when we were away. And for me, it was like I felt like it was always going to happen anyway, just because of the space. We had so many men there, and everyone wanted to grow. And I don't think so. I looked back and I was having a shower this morning. I was thinking about this, and no one
about 100 men in the shower?
like for what happened. No, I was just thinking about it because I you know what happened was like we didn't really have any idea what this was, and to be honest, like we didn't
Never.
like,
what it could be.
We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, to be honest, and that's what happened. And there was no like grand business plan, and there was no like structure. There was no like, okay, this is their intentions behind it. Like people were ringing up saying, hey, can you just come do an event here? Or we had,
And we went and did it.
And that
was pretty much the gist of it. Yeah.
and that was it. And you know, obviously the guys left and parted ways, and like we spoke before, there was me and Lenore were the last two, and you know, all the groups left and everything, and then me and Lenore were sitting here in this house, actually in this lounge room, and we're talking, and we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? And we're like, we just keep doing what we're doing, man. And I said to Lenore, I said, look, for me, there's more reward in trying to repair the sinking ship. You know, to be honest, you know, I'm not going to go into the details about that either, but there definitely a lot of people were against us at the start. And that's why I'm grateful to get through this year, because, man, that we had a lot of people against us. Like, I personally knew that. And, I definitely felt it on social media. There's a bit of a fuck you. But you know what? Go down singing every day. And that's just my attitude and my way towards it. But, look, we rebuilt it, and I feel like we're in a very good position, and that's it. And there was no giving up for myself. There was no giving up for Lenore. And you know what? There's two, and you only need one, baby.
You know, yeah.
You only need
That's my perspective. Is I don't need a lot. I just need one person to have my back, and that's enough. Like it just, and I can work, and I can do whatever I need to do. I didn't know this is the conversation you were just about to have.
Nah, me either. It's definitely not. You're like, I feel like you guys know.
But look, at the bare of it, I used to be Hecker's housemate, my wife and I, that we used to live here, and that at the bare of it, we went to New Zealand, we came back, everything changed. Everything changed. As you were sharing that, it bring back so many memories. Yeah, and you may not have realised, but we were at 660 the night before.
Yeah.
Things went down.
Awesome night.
Yeah, awesome night. But the decisions that were made, and as you were sharing, like, it's bringing back all these memories of every moment that I made a decision. I was on the phone call having the decision. We were supposed to go a 2-week tour, and it's up to me to say something, jump online, cancel it, do all these things. And how this originally started was I was asked to go to New Zealand. Yeah. And I turned around, Brad, do you want to come? And he was like, yep. And then it turned into a 2-week tour. But when the decision came to cancel it, I felt like I was doing the wrong thing by the people that asked me to go over in the very first place. And I sat there on a Zoom call with them with that decision and got off it. And when I thought to myself that what am I doing here? I'm telling them, and that a couple hundred people that we actually did go and see, that I can't come over and see you. And I thought to myself, when I get off this phone call right now, what am I going to do? Nothing. I'm going to sit at home for the next 6 weeks doing nothing, because I'd already wrapped my year up. You'd already wrap your year up. And I'm going to be sitting at home healthy while these couple of hundred people over in New Zealand that are waiting to see me can't see me. And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. So I went in, had the conversation. The decision was that we would go to fulfill out the first week. Went to 660, all having a good time. Message comes through, do not go. I show you, and then it's like, and we made the decision, and we looked at each other and we had a bit of a chat. And this decision was decided. That message came through at 9 p.m. night here, which is 12 p.m. over there. There's a 3-hour difference, and we were leaving here at 8 a.m. in the morning. Less than 12 hours. Less than 12 hours to cancel on people that are already asleep. They're expecting us. And the message had already went out. So while we're all dancing and stuff, that's the message that come through. And I'm just like, look, either way, I was a coach before we started. I was a coach. This is all I do. This is all I've done. So we made the decision to go. Never did I know that decision would be the nail in the coffin.
I think, though, that there's, like, the one thing that is always in conversations that I have about you as a person the one thing that's always a testament to you as a person is there is absolutely no denying that you are for the people. You are for the people. And for me, there's no wrong decision, no bad choice, no mistake in being for the people, in making some decisions for the greater good. If it pisses off a couple of people, but it benefits 200 people, it benefits the masses and the impact they then have on other people, I'm sorry, I'm going to piss you off.
Look, there's no good deed goes unpunished. We made the decision, we jumped on the plane, we flew over, we did the thing. We had a phenomenal week.
Yeah.
We had a phenomenal week. We went to Christchurch Youth Prison as well, and they loved you there.
Yeah, they love me there.
We went into where your Aussie accent, stood out there. My nice deep Tongan voice has the ability to, who knows where he's from. And we went into workplaces, we did a walk. When we came back, we jumped on a call that night. And you know what? In relationships, these things happen. Sometimes things will be the determining factor on whether things stick together or they split different ways. And that had happened. Never did we ever think that the fallout would become what it became, because the story that unfolded was not the reality of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And so be it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I said, in relationships, when things split, they may go, they may unfold that way. The decision beyond that was, I think we're in the kitchen. Bro, what do you want to do? Bro, we keep doing what we do.
Yeah, that's
Here
it.
we are.
I'm like, my thing is like, if I say I'm coming, I'm coming. Like, I show up. Doesn't matter.
Integrity
Like,
to your
I
word.
got one
Yes.
leg, I'll still be there, bro. Like, I'll show up. And, on the back of that, like, I'll speak into that as well. It's like, obviously the split up. I'm glad I had you there for a bit of guidance, because I would have handled it very differently. I guess in the time, there's a lot of things went out on social media, and, I'm a lot younger than you. A lot.
Really?
Nah, just a couple of years. And
you guys look the same
my
age.
head was like, you know what? Yeah. I guess a lot of things got aired out on social media, and we didn't really get to say our bit. And you're like, you know what? That's not going to serve anyone. Saying anything doesn't help anyone's situation. And that. And I was like, I'm glad I had that balance, because I would have taken it and handled it a very different way. But even in the past, everyone split and did their own thing. I was super okay with that. I actually wished everyone the best of luck the next day. I messaged everyone, sent everyone a video and said, hey, good luck. Wishes all the best. Fucking go out there and kick ass. And I guess the thing that there was only one thing that really fucked me off. The one thing that fucked me off. There's two things.
Was that I came, eh?
Yeah, you came. Yeah. Andy rang me back. He's like, hey, bro, got any space? I was like, shit, I thought we got rid of that guy. Nah, but it was that in the divide, when anything parts, what happened was, from my perspective and seeing that, what happened was in the split, all these people got left in the middle. Yeah. I didn't give a fuck that there was two groups and that they started their own thing. I think there was a lot of selfishness that went on. And it was like, okay, it's not, for me, this whole men's work shit, it's not a competition. There's no competition in this game. And in the split,
way bigger than us.
There's all these guys that got, and I still see them now because I follow them on social media and I keep in touch with everyone, is they're kind of just limbering. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to get caught in this bullshit. Yeah. I don't want to be over here, or I don't want to be over there, because it's like there's this tension now. Yeah. So I'm just going to be by myself. So there's what happened,
Evan? And women
there's
just
like
aren't getting the help.
Lone soldiers, and then they're going back to being lone soldier. And that was, if there's anything from it that I took that really fucked me off, it was that. That's the only thing that really fucked me off, because I felt like it was selfish.
I was actually one of those people that was in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And yes. I just sat back and observed. I just observed how everything unfolded as a bystander, and here I am. The one thing that I do that I think the good thing that came out of this for everybody is that the more people doing the work, the better.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
And that's what I've seen a lot of this year, is that there's a lot of people coming up. Yeah. A lot of people who have done some type of work and had some type of shift within themselves, been like, man, this feels right. This feels right for me. I kind of, I don't know, this is my perspective. I feel like once we start to find ourselves, it's your responsibility to help other people find themselves as well.
Sure. The ripple effect has to happen.
Yeah.
There's just, I'll say it over and over again, the demand is extremely high and the supply of people being able to help is extremely low. The more people that are getting out there being able to help is really, really important. So I'm the same token as you. All the people that were left in the middle, which is the reason why we went.
Yeah.
Because what were we going to do? Sit here, twiddle our thumbs, and not go. You know, yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I could do that either. It's the thing, like, it's just like you show up
Yeah.
and, you know, you say you're coming, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say you're coming and then pull out on me. That's not okay.
At the core of it, that's really what happened. I couldn't sit here and not go and know that I wasn't doing something. And know that all of those people that we actually got to see didn't get to see us, and that we were just sitting home.
Yeah.
We were just sitting at home saying that we couldn't come. And that's really what it come down to. Never did I think that one decision was going to be the separation.
Yeah.
But there are no mistakes, as we always say. There are no mistakes.
Yeah.
You know,
The work's bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what
100%.
I'm super happy that they're actually doing the thing, because like you said, there's so many people and I've seen them around and everyone's like, you know, quote unquote woke or whatever they want to say. But like, that's it. Like people, you know, becoming more aware and they're getting help from people and that's it. Like
Yeah.
if they can help people,
yeah.
I'm in support. Go hard. That's it. That's all I like to see, because I know that we can't get to everyone.
Yeah.
And you know what? The other thing is our space isn't for everyone, but their space may be for someone else, and that's awesome.
Anyone's space. Like we may not be for everyone.
No, hell,
You know?
we're definitely
Yeah,
not.
we're
for
definitely
everybody.
not for everyone. One thing I will share is like that. When we parted ways, it was definitely like leaving with love. Bid everyone that we're leaving or that we're separating or parting ways with love. But I tell you, man, it was an extremely traumatic event for me.
Yeah.
I breathed on a daily basis, breathed until I couldn't breathe and then breathed again every day. So that's why I say at the beginning, like it stretched me. This year has stretched me. It was pushed me. It has pulled me. And to be where we are now, you know, geez, from where we were 6 months ago, 12 months ago, man, my gratitude is at an all-time high. You know, because you think about what it was at the very, very start. It was just literally a group of guys coming together. We didn't know what it was. All I knew was that I had to stretch myself as best as I could, always, because there was one thing that I wouldn't do. I refused to allow whatever this was that we had no idea what it was to die.
Yeah. That's it. Just keep on going.
Yeah.
So are we allowed to share now some of the big things that might be coming for men's medicine? Like, what are our big goals? Where are we going? What are we doing? Do we let the people know, or are we keeping it a secret?
Let them see it. Let them see it. We don't need to speak about it. Not yet anyway. Not yet.
Like, the future is bright. Like I said, you can't experience like the true value and appreciation of the light without experiencing the darkness. Like, went through that, so that like, whoa, now we know like exactly, like the opportunities are endless. Like there could be, we just don't even know what could come from, based from what we thought this was to what it is now. Like, holy heck, we're going to help a lot of people. Like, we're out there, we're expanding, we're growing. Like, we're going to be back in other cities in 2021 again. Like, it's exciting. We're going to be there for the people.
You know, that the separation plus 2020 and plus 2020 forced us to evolve.
Oh, yeah.
Forced us to evolve.
So, actually, I'll even
Blessings on blessings.
elaborate
Blessings on
on that.
blessings.
Hey, it was like, I was laughing and I was having this conversation the other day. I was like, if we could get through this year, not like
we can do anything.
Ignore all the COVID bullshit. I'm like, if we could get like, besides all that, that was just an extra little. That was like just a little topping on the cake.
Even that
I
was
think.
stuff to navigate through. Like, no in-person events. That was what we did.
Yeah, but
We had to.
like I'll run you
create
through
something.
it.
It was
Like
crazy.
we start of the year, booked a tour to go around New South Wales and everywhere, all down the coast, and then everything. That was next. So then everything lit on fire. Whole of Australia was on fire. So me and Lena were like, okay, we had to cancel all of that. Lost out there. And then we're like, you know what? We're going to rebook it
This has
again.
been crazy. I forgot about
And
the
then,
bushfires.
yeah, and then we're
And
going to
the
go
floods.
again. Yeah, that's the next story.
It's actually hard to believe all this happened this year.
In the same year.
We
I know.
rebooked everything, and we're like, we're going on another tour, and then everything flooded, and we're like, you know what? Fuck Australia. We're going to go to New Zealand. We're just going to go to New Zealand because everything's safe over there. Nothing's going to burn. Nothing's going to...
There's no snakes.
Nothing's
There's no
going to happen
spiders.
bad over there. Like, we can just go over there and book the whole New Zealand tour. And then COVID happened. I was like,
Boom,
shit,
no
man. I
flights.
was like, did we learn? I was like, this is
Yeah.
3 times now. Lost out on all of that
Yeah.
as well. And then obviously COVID happened, and there's just, we rode it out. We rode out the storm, and it was fun.
Look, I went to Bali, and when we came out, the world had changed. They took our phones off us for 8 days. No phone. Receive a phone back,
like,
and you were
the world
basically
has
like,
gone
bro,
crazy."
if you can stay there, stay there. Don't come back.
Yeah. I would have been shit advice if you
Yeah.
stayed there.
Yeah, thank God you didn't.
But I didn't know how serious it was because, like, obviously they were shutting down Australia and shit. I was like, you know what? Bali would be nice to get stuck in Bali.
I remember this conversation.
You know what's making me think is, like and I've said this before, there's no way that we could have survived the way that we were. Only now do I realise, looking back. And the hindsight's always like that, right? But I'm such a creature of habit. I wear the same clothes all the time. I wear big baggy clothes. I'm always dressed in black. And it's making me think now, reflecting back, like we've got colour. We brought women in as well. The look I'm wearing change our shirts.
Yeah.
I'm wearing thank you Lululemon for the pants.
I'm still dressing the
Shout
same.
out to our
Yeah.
sponsors. No.
Yeah. I've got loafers on too.
Got shoes on.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
fancy.
got like,
the fancy
we're
footwear.
working in an office, and like all of these things, like I wouldn't have added the color because I'm such a habitual creature. Big baggy clothes. That's why Vince Benson, when it was black with the yellow, I'm like, that's, and whatever I wrote down on my spreadsheet last year, that's just what we did. 2020 is completely different, and if we're looking to, and you've said this before, share vision, you have to be willing to welcome in other people's input. And then in comes the color. In comes the change of the uniform.
Yeah.
In comes the weather.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wear those fucking shirts all the time. I'm like, they're shit.
Yeah.
He was dying to wear pink.
I was like, I don't like just wearing I want a nice, clean cut shirt.
Lino's from the street. But I understand that I'm very, very street. That's just the way, that's my style. But I guess if you're serious about growth, you have to be willing to change. We upgraded our logo.
Yes.
So many things, which makes 2021 even more exciting because we're going to be growing and changing and expanding and stretching again. Yay!
Yay.
Throw
Throw me back in the dryer again.
Put him in the blender. Let's go. Leno definitely has. You were a hard man to move there for a long time.
We talked about this
I
this
was like-
morning. We finally got him there. He's talking about doing the things that we were talking about 6 months ago. Yes.
I was like, he's coming. I was like, I always knew that though. I was like, we've got the right team, we've got the right people. I was like, it's just like, giving people the right nudge. And now we're at a stage where we can move fast, we can evolve quick, and we can go, we can shift. And like I said before, I was like, 21 is we're going to put a pace on. And we've been building the ship, we've been building the rocket ship here for a while, and it's at the stage where I'm like, okay, let's get in this bad boy and drive it.
What was your next question? Oh, I got a question coming up in mind.
No, you go.
What are you grateful? What are you grateful that you can do now that you couldn't do before?
Oh man, I could do so much more that I couldn't do before now.
Yeah, he's hula hooping now.
Something,
fire twirling.
anything specific.
Right. Feeling confident in being able to help really navigate somebody to work through their internal shit and find the tools within themselves to empower themselves. So I'm really grateful that I have found that belief within myself that needed to be thrown into the depths to really flourish. So there's many things from this year, but that's one of the ones that gives me so much fulfillment jumping off a call with our female client last night, I just had this amazing sense of fulfillment when I leave that space, and it's been a blessing. It's been an absolute blessing.
Because there was things you weren't doing it, and now you are doing it.
Yeah, that's right. I never thought I'd be doing that. Never ever thought I'd be doing that. Always knew I wanted to help people in some specific way. Just didn't realize the vehicle that I would take to actually get there. And it's still evolving. It's never ending. It's a never ending evolving machine.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. Because we met last Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton. If I told you in Hamilton that this is what you'd be doing right now, what would you say?
I'd say, yeah, fuck off, bro. Who are you?
Yeah. Same question. What are you grateful you can do now that you couldn't do before?
So for me, it's the same thing. I was not a coach before men's medicine. Like, you gave me this opportunity, and with that, there was like, in saying that, I was coaching, but I wasn't a coach. I was always working in the space of helping others, and I'm grateful for what I've recently uncovered in like the last maybe 2 months. Going through the grief of losing like my pop and my grandma really had me facing some shadows. There was a lot of my stuff that came back up, and I had to choose to step back from my work for a little while. And that was a beautiful opportunity for me to embody the message that I give to the women that I work with. But it also helped really ignite a fire and a passion in me for what I'll now be working with women. You know, for those that do follow me, I was and still kind of am a body freedom coach. I work with women on their bodies, but mostly with the self-worth piece, the self-confidence to be able to actually ask for what you want and set boundaries. And whilst I love that work, what's really lit inside of me is working with mums, like specifically mums or women who want to be mums, because I was asked this question yesterday on a podcast, and it was, if you could go back to yourself as a teenager and offer her any advice or give her anything, what would it be? And I said...
It's a great question.
It's a great question, right? But I actually said I would find a way to give my mum the support she needed. It wasn't about me, because I could give myself all of the advice that I have now, and it wouldn't help me as much as it would if she had the help she needed, because I'm still in the environment. How do you set boundaries with your mum as a teenager? She's going to be like, you know, like, you're still being taught around that, like, your environment has to change. That's what's changed the most for me, is my environment. I've been very particular with the energy and the conversations that I put myself in, and it's just like, I almost feel like I want to cry, that I would give the support to my mum so that she has better tools to deal with what she needs, to be able to then embody that, and I would have taken that on as a byproduct. That's the gift I now want to give my daughters, that it's not selfish. All the work that I'm doing with myself that sometimes takes me away from my family means that I return home a better mother, that I have a better conversations with my partner, that he can learn from me, and then we are better parents to our children, that then they don't have to be 30 years old facing mother wounds, feeling neglect and abandonment and trauma at the hands of me. Like, I'm going to break that cycle, like you mentioned before. So I'm grateful for the things, there's multitude of them, that I didn't even know existed before, that I now am able to practice, teach, embody, and be for my family especially. But the impact is always greater than ourselves. So.
Can I touch on that really quickly? What I really love about that is you said that you would gift your mother the tools that she could have adapted, right?
Would now.
Because what we see, or what I know I definitely see is usually from the late 20s, early 30s, seems to be where there is no more suppressing. Like, it's everything servicing. We start to adapt into these mental health behavioural traits that all come down to parent wounds.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's their responsibility. But if they don't know that they have to work on all of this shit, then how do you know? Yeah. And what I love is that we actually get to work through all of these child wounds, so we can help other people empower themselves to work through their shit. And who knows, in 30 years' time, not who knows, 100% and 100% in 30 years' time, when my children are older, they're going to be going through their shit that I wasn't able to catch. It's just a cycle. It's if we think of this world as an infinite, life as an infinite game, as long as we're doing our part to pass on to generation to generation to generation, then we're doing it right.
I
think so too.
I really loved what you shared at the end of the last couples workshop, which I'd love for you to re-paraphrase. I'm not going to butcher it in my words. But you were like, my daughter's going to experience struggle, but I would like her struggle to be getting into uni, buying her first house, you know, like those sort of struggles, not wondering where your next meal is going to come from. And can you...
that's pretty much...
Like,
no matter which level you're at, there's struggles.
There's struggle.
There's struggles. It's just that it's the same version, just different struggles in each version. You know, every level has a new devil. That the best version of you is, you know, more concerned about maintenance. But you know, you when you're at rock bottom, like you're just wondering, am I going to be willing to wake up tomorrow? You know, still struggling, different problems.
Yeah. Like
And then when we do this work, they get to experience different problems. What are you? I keep on getting this picture in my mind, bro. When I met you, you were a builder. You know. And now I like to think of it as you will build anything, and it doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be a house. It can be a business. Like either way, you're a builder. You know, inside, outside,
Generator.
through and through. You just enjoy building stuff.
I build everything.
What do you name it, I'll build it.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for that you can do now that you couldn't do before?
I've been thinking about that. And you know what? I think it has to do with something around relationships.
I was going to say that as a joke, but it was actually beautiful.
I think that's it, though. For me, I've allowed...
That is definitely it.
Yeah.
I've allowed relationships to happen. I feel, I don't know how to put that into words, but I've been more open to it.
Take your
in a
time,
way.
try.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's happened for me. And, you know, if I'm like, look, there was a stage, to be honest, before I went to to Adelaide, you know, obviously I'd been working on myself a lot. I'm like, you know what? I've been fucking doing all the right things. I don't drink, I don't party, I don't go out and rude everyone. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I hear all these stories, like women going, oh, where's this guy? I'm like, I've been doing all the things. I'm like, fuck it.
I even talk about it on my podcast. I'm selling myself.
I'm going on a holiday. I was like, I'm gapping it, you know. And then obviously I met someone on the way home, and you know, things have been working out. But I guess allowing myself to be open to those things. That's the main thing. And you know, and that's kind of where I'm like, okay, making some space and allowing some space is the biggest thing for me. So I'm happy I've been able to do that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing.
And the thing is, you have to actually be able to put yourself in that position. And it's not as easy as what you think. Because it's not like you haven't been in a relationship before, but we've all been in a relationship that we knew that we didn't want to be in anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you were in a relationship, but it wasn't the one you wanted.
No, I'm perfect.
And it's not until you arrive where you need to be, where you're actually emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically available to welcome that into your life.
Yeah.
Yeah? And as I'm hearing everyone sort of sharing, and I'm like, for how long has it been so hard to pinpoint, to put your finger on exactly to the description of what it is that we do?
Yeah.
Extremely, extremely hard. But hearing you share, that's the space. That's what happens in our space.
Yeah. Family,
You can do
relationships,
the thing.
connection.
You can do the thing that you talk about. You can do the thing. Yeah? For me, it's being able to, prior to men's medicine, I've been a personal trainer for 15 years. And what I come to realize was I was really great at being able to look after me. Because as a personal trainer, it's just you and the client. That's it, you know? But if you want to play a bigger game, you got to be the bigger person. So being able to function in that is completely different, completely different. So that's what I've been able to do now that I couldn't do before. So when you say it's hard to move, it's because this guy always worked by himself.
Yeah.
Worked with people, not for people, or in that environment. That the dynamic was never that.
Yeah.
It's just I train someone, they pay me, cool, we're done. I give you a program,
You do
yeah,
it.
you follow my coaching, like that's it, we're done. You know,
It's hard to break patterns.
But that wasn't
Habits.
a community like what we have now. And when I think about it, like it's a community, you know. But I couldn't have done it outside of the space. And I guess if we think about it, that's why it's been so hard to describe. What is men's medicine? What is it you guys do? Well, everything that we just all spoke about that you couldn't do before, like that. It was that.
It was that.
You're in a relationship. You're a coach. You're confident to be in this space, to do the thing that you've always felt called to do. You know, I've definitely always felt like I had something to say or something that I could do. But there was, like, unless you got the community or the audience to do it to, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I do
You've
do a
done
lot
that
of that.
before. We've all done that.
Hey, I still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
shit.
know.
We
That's
do
most
that?
of your podcast.
Yeah, that's
isn't
most
it?
of mine. I got a next question. Is that,
Oh, yeah, go
Yeah.
next, yeah.
Let's hit it.
I want to know your intention for 21.
My intention for 2021 is definitely what I just shared. Like, I want to be a part in, I don't know exactly what way yet, and I'm just surrendering to whatever it is meant to be, but be a part of creating healthier, happier homes. Like, to be a part, I actually also, sorry, Bruce, you don't know this yet, but I registered to be an emergency foster care provider. Because something that I haven't shared yet is that I actually was taken into foster at one stage, and you know, it was the respite that I needed at that time, and probably my mum too. So that really hit home for me, that I'm like, there's kids out there who need help, and the parents. So I'm really calling in, and just whatever it is, that in some way I play a big role in creating happier homes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's my
That's
intention.
definitely in alignment
Manifesting
with what we're
that.
about.
Last year we had earlier this year we had a meeting, and I'm very grateful because you gave some structure that I was missing. Like, it's one thing to have an idea in your mind, but to have it down on paper with a bit of a roadmap to know exactly where you're going, then you've got nothing, right? So for me, I want to perfect the art of storytelling. So to do that is I actually want to start speaking more. Because with that, I want to get into public speaking. That was the one thing I fell short from this year, but maybe not. This is some form of public speaking, right?
Yeah.
So follow into that one next year. Go a little bit harder.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
What was the question again? 2021?
What's your intention for next year?
Oh, whatever the same as it always is. Whatever it is that we set out to do that.
Good. That's good.
That's
'cause
pretty much it.
It's going to help me. That's good.
Let's do that.
Hells.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because it's a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Works.
it.
Yeah.
It's
We
working.
got it. We got it.
So I'll be ecstatic if we do that.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
And this is what I mean. A lot of the time people think like, oh, geez, like there's this. And I'm like, nah, man, I like to keep things simple, man.
Yeah.
Life is challenging enough as it is.
My intention, and it's like I'm trying not to get too excited because I'm trying to wind down at the moment rather than wind up. But my intention next year is to fucking put on a pace, man. I'm gonna put on a pace. Like
Keep
there's
an
no
eye out
tomorrow.
for big things.
I'm gonna put on a
Other
pace
words.
like there's no tomorrow, and I know that, and you know I've done it before, but not in the way that I can hold myself in the capacity, and I know what I can take on now, and I know what I can achieve, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I know everyone says look out, but I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, keep up, and that's why when you said, look, we're gonna set out and do it at the plan, I'm like, thank fuck, because we're gonna get busy, man. We're gonna be busy. We're gonna be busy, and that's
You know me. I will always show up.
yeah, and that's why I'm like, you know, everyone's a really important part to the team. I'm like, everyone needs to really plan their strengths next year really hard, really like heavily. I'm like, if everyone fucking does what they want to do, like, and plays hard in their strong game, I'm like, man, there's not much that we can't kick off next year. And that's why I'm super keen just to get out there. I'm like, let's kick it off. And yeah, the ship's been built. I'm like, let's fly this bad boy. So that's what my intention next year is to put on a pace like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, there's a lot of good pieces
for
that
it.
are in there too. You know, I had a good phone call this morning. I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
Can't give everything away.
And I got two other questions. So for me, 2020, like you always got to set the year. It's the year of X, Y, Z. And I want to know one goal that you've got, obviously an intention, but I want to know like what's something that we want to, because I'm going to have this conversation next year as well. And we'll definitely be in a far better place than this. We'll be in a nice studio somewhere. We'll do another podcast, but I'm going to make sure that you think about, I'll give you a second as well. Like what's one goal that you want to achieve next year, by this time next year? And then also it's the year of like building foundations. It's the year of, because it's important to have a year of something. Like it's the year of growth. For me, this year might have been the year of growth for everyone, really, because it's been a year of, getting uncomfortable for everyone. So I always like to set a tone for it, like a theme your year. What do you want next year to be the theme of? And I'll open it up because this is a thing where you may not know yet. So whoever wants to go first, theme and a goal for next year.
I'll kick it off.
Sorry, we're busy.
Good draw straws.
The theme for me for next year is execution. Theme of next year's execution.
Yes.
Words out of
Get your own.
And it's cool because this year we really got to find those strengths. And the goal, it's probably a little bit of a different goal. Mr. Dangerous, as he calls himself, apparently, he set this goal for himself, and I want to do 365 days no alcohol, 365 days of gratitude. That's my goal, my thing.
Hey, like that.
He's almost hit 365 too.
Yeah, I'm coming close. How long?
Yeah.
How many days we got till Chrissy?
You got 7 days left, bro.
Nice.
We'll speak into
stuff
that
it up.
after, but this is going to be fun.
Don't stuff it up.
Yeah.
7 days left.
Yeah, for me, I was going to say thriving, and that if we do what we set out to do, we'll be thriving. I can't tell you how excited that makes me feel. And as you were sharing what you did, and you're just about to achieve that goal, it was around this time 3 years ago, and when I see that pop up in my Facebook memories, that I made the decision, no more drugs, and it was like, and no more partying. And it wasn't like it was a hectic part of my life, but every time it sort of happened, and I'm like, it didn't have a place in my life. And there were all of these things that I wanted to do, and I knew that had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And I told my friends, and they stopped calling me. They stopped calling me. No one called me around for a party anymore. And the truth is, I wasn't available for a party. And all the things that I wanted to do, the courses, the workshops, the business that I wanted to do happened after that. So I've drunk maybe less than 10 times this year.
It's good.
Less than 10 times this year.
I saw you at bedroom the other night.
Bedroom?
Yeah. You were there, weren't you?
What?
He was peeking in through your bedroom.
So it's
So pretending to be the window washer.
It's the year of
Thriving.
and your
execution,
goal
thriving.
and your goal.
To make that happen. Everything that was on that board,
Yeah.
to make that happen.
Set it out and do it.
Execute
So
it.
execute the plan.
Execute that plan. Execute the plan. Yeah.
That's solid.
Man, I interpreted your question really differently originally, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I had something in mind, and then as you guys were talking, I was like, ting, it just like landed for me. Mine is the year of abundance. Abundant in love, abundant in family, abundant in friendship, in filling my cup, in money, because I've had a really tough time with money as a story, that it's wrong to want it. Something I've been working through, but what has landed for me recently, like it's the gift of giving, it's the Christmas spirit, it's the like I'm at a stage where I want to thank my staff, I want to thank my clients, I want to like send out gifts and gratitude, and I'm like, I fucking can't, because I've been giving so much of my value and my services and my things away because I must have a fear of abundance. So it landed with me. I don't know if you guys have heard of the drama triangle. So the drama triangle, there's like the savior, like the person who's trying to save everyone. There's the victim, and
Rescuer.
there's
And the rescuer.
well, that's the savior, the rescuer,
right.
the victim and the villain. So I've been trying to be the rescuer for everyone in my life. Oh, you can't afford my I will just do it. Oh, you can't afford it. I will just, discounts or whatever. But what that means is in the drama triangle, if you are rescuing someone, you're instantly making them a victim. The victim of their circumstances. You're saying, you actually can't figure it out and find a way to pay me for my services. You can't. So it robs them, it's disempowering, robs them of the opportunity to level up and do it for themselves. That's the opposite of what I teach. I'm an empowerment coach. So that ends up building resentment because I expect something of them for the thing that they expected of me, and then you end up as the villain. Fuck them. Fuck you. You didn't, blah, blah, blah. You expect this of me, but you gave it to me for free. I don't, like, it's just a cycle. You go from one to the other. Where was I going with this?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. So we need an intention for the year and a
My
goal.
intention is abundance,
the year of abundance.
To break the cycle, to call in abundance and to allow abundance for myself and for others. So the goal is to get comfortable standing in my worth so I can teach that to others, to take it from that drama triangle and step the fuck away from it.
Bang. So
Knew I was going somewhere.
That was the tourist route.
yeah.
was the
So
tourist
yeah,
trap.
like
Scenic
so
route.
Andy was like, "Girl in the plane."
Yeah.
Nah. So the year of
Execution.
the year of
Thriving.
the year of
Abundance.
bang. Let's go.
What's yours?
It's the year of business, baby. Let's get busy because I'm gonna get busy, and that's what it's all business this year. And that's why my intention is just, fuck, man. Like I said, I'm gonna put a pace on, and I'm keen as. My goal is make sure one of my biggest goals is to make sure everyone eats next year. Well, eats well. Enough
So my abundance is
sacrifices.
coming in.
Enough sacrifices being laid down
Yeah.
in this whole circle. I was thinking even, what was that, Jim's one, man, we've fucking helped so many people.
That's right.
I was like, and I'm like, we cannot keep operating at this pace if no one's financially rewarded. I'm like, there's been so much people helped. So that's why this year's the year of business for me, and yeah, putting a pace on.
Calling it in means that you actually help more people. Like, I think that's kind of where I was getting to with my tourist route.
Yeah.
That you make business work so that you can help more people.
Yeah. Everybody eats next year.
Because otherwise you're limiting
Everybody
yourself.
eats.
You're like,
Everybody
I'm
eats.
doing it for this, but yeah.
And that's why I said thriving.
Yeah.
Is because we've already done the growth.
Yeah.
We've been growing.
We laid it
We already help people.
You've already got the foundation done.
Yeah. But if we don't thrive, like where it can feed,
Yeah.
where people aren't doing other jobs, but this is all they do. This is all we do, and this is all we do.
Yeah, this is all we do.
Right now, like this
Yeah.
is the sacrifice that we made. That in order for it to be where it is, that we just have to accept that this is just all we do.
Yeah.
That's how you help more people, right? That's how we fully commit to helping, to opening those floodgates, and
That's it, eh?
we're here.
I like it. Yeah, even just actually sorry about that. Even with the drinking thing before, I was laughing. I was like, that's been a big hurt. I got 7 days left. I didn't even realize until you just said. I was like, shit.
Have you actually lasted the whole time?
I actually have.
He sniffed. He's had like a sniff of. I think I had a whiskey or something one day. He's like, let me have a sniff of it.
Yeah, but it's not been one of those things. I'm like, you know what? I turn 30 next year.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I can sit back and say, because obviously for people who know my personal story, my early 20s was fucking drugs and alcohol, heavy and hard. I'm like, you know what? If I can finish my 20s, no alcohol for a year, I'm like, damn, baby, I did that. I'm like, turned it around.
What's your intention with that now? Are you planning on following that through, or do you just?
Oh, no, yeah, next year I'm going to make up for it.
New Year's Eve, baby, I'm going to get lit.
Or maybe I'll push it back to the following year then.
Yeah, no. Just pretty much, it's like I for the people, I even quit coffee. It was to learn a lesson. Like I don't need it. But for me, the intention is, look, I'm gonna have a beer on Chrissy Day. That was when I had a beer. I had a rum with my cousin last year on Christmas Day, and only because he was like, "Hey, have rum with me." He's like, "Stop being a shit." See,
Yeah.
He's like, stop being a faggot. I was like, look, you know, we went for a dive, got some crayfish, and I had a run with him and had a chat with him, and that was our way of communicating there. That's how they talk to each other. And I was like, you know what, I'm quitting it. And yeah, so I'll have a beer, Chrissy Day, celebrate it as we do, celebrate everything. It's been a year. I set out to do a year. I did it. You know what, I'll probably have a few drinks over the holiday season, and if I feel like it, I might drink, might not even like it. I don't crave it at all. And then, I'll go back to next year and probably not drink again.
I haven't been drunk for 3 years.
Probably about the same.
Yeah.
I just stopped and then
You can just do so
Didn't
much
miss
more
it.
without it.
Yeah.
Not just a little bit more, a lot more.
yeah,
And a
like
big
you could write off a whole day
Yeah.
just to enjoy 3 hours.
That's what always gets me, is you're lying in bed and you're just like,
Sacrifice. Not worth it.
The big thing I thought, like when I did it as well, I'm like, looked at all these successful people. Obviously, I listened to a lot of YouTube, and I'm like, you know, there's all these things you can do. I'm like, all these really successful people, I said, a lot of them don't drink. I'm like, you know what? That's something I can do for free. That don't cost me no coach. I don't have to pay for no coach. I'm like, that's one thing I can do. It's free as fuck. I
In
don't
fact,
have to.
you make money by not drinking
Yeah,
because
I
you're
know. I'm like,
saving.
that's one thing extra I can do to add to my little arsenal is just not drink. I'm like, do it. That's it. Like there's a lot of problems solved.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you think about all the things that have been able to come to fruition since just making that one decision. Making that one decision, and something I wanted to share is that when you make these sacrifices, and if you do it right, you build such a better relationship with it. So when you go to drink, you're not going to trip over it because you've been able to build a healthy relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
So when you choose to drink, you're going to do it in a way that you enjoy. You know, nothing's really that bad. There's the moment where you're having a good time, and then you go too far, you indulge a little bit too much. Now all of a sudden, you're paying for it. You're hurting, and you're just like, oh man, I took too many, didn't I? I had too many.
Yeah.
Went a little bit too far. Whereas you stop when you know you should stop, that good time is still a good time. You can still look at it, with great memories. Yeah. What's your next question?
Don't tell me what to do. Now, I feel like we have to, is there like one moment in this year that really challenged you? Like, was there a moment where you had to sit with yourself and be like, look, I don't know.
Multiple.
Yeah, I was like, which one?
Is there one that stands out? Because I want to know what it was and what your lesson from it was. Because if you're having the challenges and you're having the hard times and you're not taking the lessons from it, or you don't reflect on the lessons that you had from the times, did you really learn from it?
I definitely think the one that's like just popping up for me was when my business went through similar to what you guys did. That there was a split, there was a break, they went and did what I was doing, and some of my clients went with them. And I remember actually calling you and being like, "How did you handle this with such grace? Because I want to rip heads off. Like I'm angry, I'm upset, I feel what's the word?
Betrayed?
Like betrayed." That's what it was. Yeah, like disrespected. And it was like hearing from you, like, I'm still hurt. I'm still triggered. I'm just dealing with it internally, like with my own, because I only have control over my own actions. And I was just like, boom, cool. I'm triggered. Why? And how can I stop this from happening? What do I have control over that I can stop this from happening? So the lesson that I learned with that was I give my trust to everybody. I was just like, you're in. I got really careful. Like my team now, like you're the best. I love my team. They're like my sisters. They are my family. I trust them with keys to my house, my business accounts, like everything. But I made sure that there was a process, that there was markers that had to be ticked before they got that trust from me. That I was a little bit more careful with my environment, like I mentioned before, with the kind of conversations, the kind of people that I was hanging out with. And I also made sure that I was reciprocating, that I was actually giving back to the people in my circle in a way that made them feel respected and appreciated and heard and seen and felt, so that they didn't feel like they needed to leave me or change or go in a way that was hurtful. that it was always very open, honest, respectful. The communication piece, like, key. So yeah, that was my lesson. Similar, a split, and the lesson, like, what I learned from it was really communicating within my team and giving space and reciprocating that trust, that love. Yeah.
Chad?
What was yours? Thank you.
For me, mine came down into terms of relationship. So I learned this lesson, and I've spoken to you briefly about it. It comes down to attachment styles. I asked myself this question, you know, what is this lesson that I'm supposed to be learning here? And this attachment style question or whatever it was keep popping up. So I went down the rabbit hole and I found out that we all sit in the category of 1 to 4 attachment styles. Only one of them serves us. So one's secure, there's anxious, there's dismissive, and then there's fearful, which is a combination of anxious and dismissive. So what I learned was that I am now recovering anxious attachment style, which comes from a inconsistency of nurturing from one or both of your parents. Mm-hmm. So in turn, when you're in a relationship, you can reach out, be quite clingy to your partner. You can be checking on them all the time. You can feel as if when things are going wrong that you're physically dying, right? And also finding that I'm an empath really added to that. So learning and understanding how this played out in my life gave me the ability to dive into that discomfort and recover from it. So that one was a big one for me this year because it's unfair. It's unfair to put that onto your partner, bring that into a relationship, and that comes into relationships with friends. It comes into relationships with families. It's just relationships as a whole. So understanding that lesson and learning from that was a big one for me.
It was. I remember seeing the look on your face. You know, like when you realise something, you know, like there's this, you just want to share it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
A big shift.
For me, the team is just as important as the dream. That you can have the best plan in the world, but legit, like, it don't mean nothing if you don't have the team to help bring it to life, and if you're the only one alone. It's just you. It's just you. At the retreat, there was a moment where we were doing Osho's like morning routine, and we had blindfolds on. And once the routine had finished, we just had to stop and be still. And my little monkey mind wanted to run away on me and go wherever it usually goes. And I was like, and I'm trying to do this thing. I'm like, can you just stay? And I thought to myself, you know, what's the question? Where else in my life is this showing up?
Yep.
I hate that question.
What do you reckon the answer was?
Everywhere.
And I'm like, shit. And it just came to me. And quite often, you know, I've always got bright ideas. I love having bright ideas. But I'm like the kid that you can't keep inside the house. I want to keep on going and doing these things. And the problem is that, you know, while people are here and they're working with me, here I am like doing this thing, and then I'm gone. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gone. And I'm just like, all right, learn to stay, learn to share, learn to play with others. And I can play with others, but like it just, that people are wanting me here and I'm going. I'm looking at the door, you know? So that was something that I really took away from this year, that elevation does require separation. And if you really do want to grow, that you have to let go of some of your old ways. And if you want bigger things, you do have to become that bigger person.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I guess I say the team is just as important as the dream.
Yeah. I like that lands.
Mine would be learning to go slow to go fast. I learned how to go slow.
This chair's like full of this stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Says the guy whose intention was like,
oh no, my intention is to put on a pace next year at all costs. There's no denying it. But
even if it takes going slow to go fast.
it does. to go fast, it also requires you to be able to understand how to go slow. Because you can go fast, but if you don't know how to go slow, you're never really going fast, are you?
Well, there's such thing as speed kills, yeah?
Yeah, speed kills.
Yeah.
And for me, doing more is not more. I tend to have a lot of things going on at once. And I realised my biggest learning was I actually wrote it all down on a board. And I run out of space.
Infamous whiteboard.
And I run out of space. I was like, fucking idiot. I was like, why you, like, I wrote it all down, like all the things I was doing, all the conversations, all the phone calls, all the things that was required from me in a week. And I was like, you're fucking mad, man. How are you going to get that done? I was like, you were giving it a good crack. I'm like, you know what? Once I really honed it in, I know that I can do things well, multiple things, but there's a point where too much is too much. And evidently trying to do too many things allows you to do everything shit.
Yes.
So I'm like, look, you know what? I'm just going to do those couple of things really well. And you know what? I'm going to learn how to be present more, which I tend to live always in the present, in the future, rather than being in the present. But now, like, that's what I'm saying. I know how to be in the present moment now a lot more than what I used to be able to. So I can go fast. I can go
Saying the
fast.
same similar thing, but different.
We literally are.
I'm just like, if I said the same, if we said the same thing.
We're all just kind of reiterating, which is good. We're really bringing bringing it home. And that's, I guess, what we want as a team as well, that we've got our own individual expressions, but realistically, we all value the same things.
Yeah, it's really important that we sure our values are in alignment. Otherwise, you're working with people that you should not be working with.
Yeah.
I love how you didn't use that ugly word balance. You know,
The word always makes me cringe. I'm like, it doesn't
There's
exist.
no such thing.
I don't say it doesn't exist because people say it doesn't exist. I'm like, when was the last time you were balanced?
yeah. I like.
I was going to say something smart.
I'm juggling all my plates really well.
For me, it's boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Setting boundaries. And this is how I see a lot of people doing things. And like, you're on the Ferris wheel. You're on the they're on the Ferris wheel. And it's like they're always in this. There's like people like ring up and they're like, oh, can you do this? And they're like, yeah, I'll do this right now. But like, you know, I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, when I go to sleep or when I get upstairs, I go to bed. When I want to wind off, I wind off. Like, you call me, nah, whatever. Like, I ain't going to do that shit. I'll do that tomorrow. Like, there's no boundaries on things. And I feel like life, you need to have boundaries around your work, around your family, around relationships and anything like that. Otherwise, you're always just in the cup, in the sauce, as I like to say it. You're always in the sauce. You're a slave to everything. Rather than being like, nah, I do that on this time and in this day. Otherwise, just come see me then.
And I think there's always going to be a percentage of that's always going to happen, especially in the beginning. And I guess this is why I said thriving, because if it doesn't pay out at the end, well, it's not actually what you think it is. You know, you have to find yourself in the end zone. Otherwise, you legit are a slave to whatever it is, you know, the work is. And the truth is, you're disservicing not just yourself, but you're eventually going to self-combust. And then, like you said, you can go too fast. What good are you then?
Yeah.
You're no good. Did you actually do what you said you did? And how many of us know people that are, I guess, almost like has-beens, never was. All they do is talk about their glory days, how great they were or how successful they. I know a friend, he talks about how successful he was when he was a teenager. And I'm just like...
It's been a while since then.
Bro, you're like 40. Or when I went to school, I'm like, do you know how long ago school was?
Yeah. Long time ago for you.
It's my 20-year reunion this year.
Yeah. That's why boundaries are so important to me. I always ask people, I'm like, why do shops have times? Like open and close times? Because that's the time they choose to trade and sell. And then if you want to buy something, you buy it outside, unless you're online. Those motherfuckers don't sleep. But I'm like, those are important to have those boundaries, because you wait till tomorrow and people just don't. They're just always, I guess if we're talking biz, like they're always in sell mode, or they're always in, you know, that works out well. But like if you keep the shop open forever,
Eventually fizzle out.
it gets shitty.
And that was a piece that was sort of, you know, coming up for me while everyone was sharing, as you were finishing, was longevity.
Yeah.
That it's not about how long can you go, but like the journey needs to have some legs on it. You know, otherwise it's just here for a period of time, and then what are you gonna do next?
Yeah.
You know, I guess in this space here for me now, as a personal trainer for 15 years, one thing that I didn't want to be was on the tools at 40. That guy still doing 12-week, transformations and giving out meal plans and training programs, still spotting people. That's not what I wanted for myself. So, what we're doing for ourselves this year, and what we have done for last year and the year that's coming up now, I think that what we've got is something that can really go for a long time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to wrap it up, actually, because we're getting up to like an hour and 20. Man, just leave us with something that you want next year. Just could be anything. Just leave us with something that you want, because I want to see you get it as well. And then we're going to wish it to you. Anyone can go.
That's a tough one.
Say that question again.
Anything that you want.
What do you want? Like something that you want.
2021.
Because I want to know what it is, because I'm going to help you try to get it.
I want happy homes. I want to know that I've made an impact to the women that I work with, and that I can see an impact on the children that they have. One thing that y'all can help me to do is one of my goals that I was going to mention before is I really want to host a workshop for women and their daughters. Like something that, holy shit, I would love as an opportunity, like we sometimes do on the women's walks, to have that moment with my mother. And if we can get, like, this obviously is all children, but if we could get that before they're where me and my mother are at and break those walls down, like that benefits the grandchildren. That benefits, like, I would love that opportunity. So that's one way I know I will be making an impact and what I want for 2021.
Love it.
I guess mine goes down into what I'm setting for next year anyway, and that's just to get better at storytelling.
Yeah.
To learn how to articulate my story very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very simple.
Yeah. Spread the word.
I'd love to run another retreat next year. Yeah. I feel like it's something that I enjoy, but I think it's something that delivers a lot of value to the community. Yeah, and I guess that's like for a retreat for like the leaders of leaders. It's not where you're coming to get fixed as such. It's where you're coming to grow. That's what that workshop is for. That's what that retreat is for. And it's just a real, I guess, a special time for people to come together and grow together in a tight container. And I know that majority of our community haven't experienced that. So to be able to offer that and deliver that next year, one, hopefully two, I think that would be really valuable, and I really enjoy it.
Mine is I want to be able to, by the end of next year, have multiple successful businesses, because that's what I like, building businesses. That's obviously where I'll always spend my time, is that. And actually, I'm going to throw one more in there because I want this one. It's be in the top 5. Actually, I'm going to aim high. I'm going to be top 1.
Top 1.
The number 1 educational podcast in Australia. I got number 14 this year, so I'm like, I reckon I can get one.
Yeah, you can get there.
Easily. Only been 6 months.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. And this is number 53 for the year. For 6 months anyway. So congratulations to here on 53.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
Wrapping it up. But yeah, that's it. Unless you want to leave us with
Don't
anything
know,
else.
now you know.
You're going to know.
Yeah,
That's for
man.
sure.
I feel like we went through a lot. Whoever listens to this podcast is like, better have a journal and a pen, be taking notes.
A lot in there.
A lot of wisdom today. A lot of wisdom.
I don't know.
I'll leave one thing. One thing that I love from Simon Sinek.
No,
and
sorry,
that
we've
is
run out of time.
true vulnerability is giving someone all of you and trusting that they won't break your heart.
Yeah.
I butchered
break your
that, but
trust,
it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
Give me a quote too. We'll leave on a quote.
Oh, man. Come back to me.
No, right now, put you on the spot. This is men's medicine. We don't get breaks here. Give me something, throw you in the sauce.
Look, my favorite quote that comes up all the time is, we're all doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. So, I mean, the work that we're in is giving people an opportunity to equip themselves with better tools, to get curious around what hasn't been working and find ways that it now will. Best you can, what you got.
Love it. Thank you. Man, I'm just going to leave it with love and family. Love and family, and without that, what else is there?
Bang. Mine is, you'll never ever know if you never have a go. That's it, baby. See you guys. That's the podcast for today. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Don't leave any nasty comments down there. Leave us a real good review, though. But if you're on YouTube, follow and subscribe as well. But other than that, peace and love. I'll see you on the next one.
See you there.
Peace. Bye.